Here's a number worth knowing. 119 million Americans, that's nearly half of all adults in this country, have high blood pressure. And if you're over 60, the odds are even higher. Your doctor may have already mentioned it. Maybe you're managing it with medication. Maybe you're watching it closely and hoping to avoid medication altogether. Either way, what you eat every day is one of the most direct levers you have over that number on the blood pressure cuff. Welcome to Eat Well, Age Well. Today we're going through 10 foods backed by clinical research that have been shown to lower blood pressure naturally. These aren't miracle foods, and they're not a substitute for your doctor's guidance, but they are real, affordable, and available at any grocery store in America. And before we get into the list, I want to say something important. If you're already on blood pressure medication, please do not stop taking it without talking to your doctor first. Diet and medication often work together. This list is about adding good things to your plate, not replacing what your doctor has prescribed. All right. Let's get into it. Food number 10, bananas. We're starting simple because this one is already in most people's kitchens and most people have no idea how relevant it is to blood pressure. Bananas are one of the best dietary sources of potassium you can find. And potassium is essential to blood pressure regulation for one very specific reason. It helps your kidneys flush excess sodium out of the body through urine. Think of it this way. Sodium pushes blood pressure up, and potassium helps cancel that effect out. The American Heart Association specifically highlights potassium-rich foods as a core strategy for managing hypertension. One medium banana gives you about 422 milligrams of potassium. That's a meaningful contribution toward the 3,500 to 4,700 milligrams per day that research consistently associates with healthy blood pressure levels. A banana with breakfast or sliced over oatmeal, one of the lowest effort changes on this entire list. Food number 9, beans and legumes. This one surprises people every time. A major systematic review and meta-analysis published just last week in BMJ Nutrition, covering 12 long-term studies and hundreds of thousands of participants across the US, Europe, and Asia, found that people who eat more beans and legumes have nearly 30% lower risk of developing high blood pressure. That's a remarkable number for something as simple as black beans, kidney beans, lentils, or chickpeas. The reason comes down to several factors working together. Legumes are rich in potassium, magnesium, and fiber, all of which support healthy blood pressure, and they displace the sodium-heavy processed foods that often take their place in a typical American diet. Adding beans to a couple of meals per week, in a soup, a salad, or as a side dish, is one of the most impactful and affordable dietary changes a senior can make for their heart. Food number 8, dark chocolate. Yes, really. A meta-analysis of 31 randomized controlled trials published in Nutrients in 2024 found that cocoa consumption, specifically 70% dark chocolate or higher, was associated with meaningful reductions in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. The reason is flavonols, plant compounds in cacao that increase the production of nitric oxide in your blood vessels. Nitric oxide helps blood vessels relax and widen, which directly reduces the pressure inside them. 1 to 2 small squares of dark chocolate a day, 70% cacao or higher, is the amount that research points to. This is not permission to eat half a bar, But as a daily ritual, a couple of squares after lunch is doing something genuinely useful for your cardiovascular system. Just check the label. It needs to say 70% cacao or more. Milk chocolate doesn't have enough flavonol content to produce this effect. Food number 7, beets. Beets are one of the richest dietary sources of nitrates, natural compounds that your body converts into nitric oxide, which relaxes and dilates blood vessels and brings blood pressure down. Clinical trials have consistently shown that beetroot juice produces measurable blood pressure reductions, often within hours of consumption. Research published in 2024 confirmed this mechanism in hypertensive adults. The nitrate to nitric oxide pathway is well established in the scientific literature. You don't have to drink beet juice if that's not your thing. Roasted beets are genuinely delicious. They get sweet and tender in the oven with a little olive oil. You can also add them to salads, blend them into a smoothie, or buy pre-cooked beets at most grocery stores. If you are on blood thinners or kidney medication, check with your doctor before significantly increasing beet intake, as high levels of dietary nitrates may interact with certain medications. Food number 6, garlic. Garlic has been used for cardiovascular health for centuries, but now we have the clinical evidence to explain why. A 2025 meta-analysis published in Frontiers in Nutrition, one of the most comprehensive to date, reviewing 10 randomized controlled trials and searching more than 1,800 studies, found that garlic supplementation produced a significant reduction in both systolic blood pressure, down about 4 points on average, and diastolic blood pressure, down about 3 points on average. That may sound small, but research consistently shows that a 5-point reduction in systolic blood pressure is associated with a meaningful decrease in the risk of cardiovascular events. The active compound in garlic is allicin, which is released when garlic is crushed or chopped. Cooking destroys some of it, so raw garlic gives you the most benefit, but even cooked garlic contributes meaningfully. The practical move: add a fresh, crushed clove of garlic to your olive oil when sautéing vegetables, or chop it raw into dressings and dips. Easy, and your heart will thank you. Food number 5, leafy greens. This is the second time leafy greens have appeared on an Eat Well, Age Well list, and it won't be the last. They genuinely earn it. Swiss chard, spinach, and kale are exceptionally high in both potassium and magnesium, 2 minerals that work together to regulate blood vessel tension and fluid balance. Research shows that every 100 milligram increase in daily magnesium intake is associated with a reduction in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. 1 cup of cooked Swiss chard alone delivers around 961 milligrams of potassium and 150 milligrams of magnesium. For context, that's a substantial portion of your daily blood pressure protective mineral needs in 1 serving. Sauté them, blend them into soups, add them to eggs in the morning. Any form works. The nutritional value holds up well to cooking, so don't worry about being precious about it. Food number 4, berries. Berries, particularly blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries, contain high concentrations of anthocyanins, a type of flavonoid that research has linked to improved blood vessel function and lower blood pressure. An overview of clinical evidence published in Nutrients found that specific berry types, especially blueberries and chokeberries, showed stronger evidence for blood pressure reduction, particularly in people who already had hypertension. The mechanism is similar to dark chocolate. Anthocyanins increase nitric oxide availability in the blood vessels, making them more flexible and reducing resistance. For people over 60 who are more likely to have stiffening arteries, a natural part of aging, that vessel flexibility matters more than ever. Half a cup of berries a day is enough to matter. Frozen is just as good as fresh. Add them to yogurt, oatmeal, or eat them as a snack. Food number 3, oats. Oats are the unsung hero of the blood pressure conversation, and they deserve more credit. Oats are rich in a specific type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. Beta-glucan has been shown in multiple studies to reduce both systolic and diastolic blood pressure, and the FDA has actually approved a heart health claim for oats based on the strength of this evidence. The American Heart Association lists whole grains, including oats, as a cornerstone of the DASH diet, which stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension, the most rigorously studied dietary pattern specifically designed to lower blood pressure. A bowl of plain oatmeal in the morning, topped with a banana and some berries, and you've already stacked 3 foods from this list before 9 a.m. That's how dietary change actually works, not through perfection, but through smart stacking. Food number 2, fatty fish. This is a repeat from our superfoods list too, and for good reason. The evidence for fatty fish on blood pressure is some of the most robust in all of nutritional science. A major meta-analysis published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, covering 71 randomized controlled trials and nearly 5,000 individuals, found that consuming 2 to 3 grams of omega-3 fatty acids per day from fish was associated with meaningful reductions in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Importantly, the effect was strongest in people with existing hypertension, exactly the population watching this video. The omega-3s in fatty fish, specifically EPA and DHA, help relax blood vessel walls, reduce inflammation in the arterial lining, and improve the overall flexibility of your cardiovascular system. 2 servings per week of salmon, mackerel, sardines, or tuna is the target. And again, canned sardines or mackerel give you the same benefit at a much lower price point than fresh salmon. Don't overlook them. Food number 1, plain yogurt. This one edges out fatty fish for the top spot because of how consistently it appears in the research on blood pressure, and because most people genuinely don't see it coming. A large-scale analysis published in the American Journal of Hypertension, following over 55,000 adults, found that people who ate 2 or more servings of yogurt per week had a significantly lower risk of developing high blood pressure compared to those who ate little or none. The benefit was most pronounced in people who were already at elevated cardiovascular risk. The mechanisms are multiple. Yogurt delivers calcium and potassium, both critical for blood vessel regulation, along with magnesium and probiotics that reduce systemic inflammation, which itself contributes to arterial stiffness and elevated pressure. The key is plain yogurt, Greek or regular. Flavored yogurts are loaded with added sugar, which has the opposite effect on blood pressure. Add your own fruit or a drizzle of honey, and you've got a genuinely powerful daily blood pressure tool that takes about 30 seconds to prepare. Let's recap what we learned. Here are your 10 foods that naturally lower blood pressure. Number 10, bananas. Number 9, beans and legumes. Number 8, dark chocolate. Number 7, beets. Number 6, garlic. Number 5, leafy greens. Number 4, berries. Number 3, oats. Number 2, fatty fish, and number 1, plain yogurt. Notice something? Several of these are foods we've talked about before on this channel. That's not a coincidence. The foods that lower blood pressure, fight inflammation, and support healthy aging overlap significantly. Build your diet around these, and you're not just managing one number. You're supporting your entire cardiovascular system. As always, this is not medical advice. If you are managing high blood pressure, please work with your doctor. Diet is powerful, but it works best as a partner to whatever your physician has prescribed, not a replacement for it. If this video was helpful, subscribe. We're here every week. And drop a comment below. Tell me which of these 10 you're adding to your plate first. See you next week.